for that because that's what I believe in. Now, every man's going to have a different opinion and understanding about that thing. And I think what we're trying to do always is find the silver bullet, like one thing that we can hold on to. It's not cookie cutter. It's all based off the characteristics and the belief system of the person. When we date, we want to find the perfect scenario. It's not cookie cutter. None of this is cookie cutter. No man is going to think the exact same. Corey doesn't think the same way I am. Me and Coach, we might have different beliefs in it. You see what I'm saying? But we have to find and learn that individual and stop trying to use all of these rules that we think should fit and work in a relationship. And if they text message and if they don't do this and no, why does man do that? Why do women do this? But if you do this to a woman, and I think that's where we get screwed up in relationships in general, because we're doing things out of obligation in relationship instead of doing things out of actual love in relationships. So like he said, the obligation of getting married, Corey. So if I was obligated to get married, of course I'm gonna have some sort of bitterness about this thing. So I may not take it serious. If I'm obligated to being married, if I'm obligated to clean up, so a woman believes, okay, they have to cook and they have to clean. Well, you're doing that out of obligation, not doing that out of love. So of course there's a bitterness towards it. Okay. So we have to figure out what works individual to individual and stop trying to look at it as a whole. Why do men do this and why do women do this? We're more alike than we are different.
Okay, good point.
I think that there's now acceptable practices that maybe weren't so acceptable before. So I think that when it's acceptable to shack up, then that makes life easier. I think that the hard part about marriage is that shacking up isn't tough. Marriage is. And I think in a world that we live in today, we tend to get away from what's challenging and what's hard as opposed to what's easy. I think we have a mindset that's we'll stay together until this doesn't work. And then you take what you had, I take what I had. There's no commitment, there's no all in. I think the one thing that's challenging for most men today is being vulnerable. And vulnerability means totally allowing myself to be there. Men have been jaded, and I don't think that's recognized enough. Men have been emasculated, and I don't think that comes to the forefront as much. So I think there's a lot of men who literally, even if they've seen it in their family, seen it in their neighborhood, seen it around, I think they have kind of an apprehension now of, here's what marriage did. Marriage was broken. I don't want to be broken. So if I don't get married, maybe I can avoid the brokenness. So I think there's a lot of those things that factor into the decisions that we make. I want a partner. I want my best friend. I want those things. And I believe that there's a deeper commitment when someone is married. I think there's deeper commitment when you are all in. I think folks that shack up are never really all in. And to Corey's point, yeah, there's a commitment, but I don't think it's the same one. Because I think that there's always in the back of the mind that we're not married. And I think that right there always gives somebody an out if they want one, because we're not. And for me, and again, I don't want that out. I'm married for 20 years and I didn't want out. But had I had the mindset I have now, I tell folks I'm not an advocate for divorce, but I'm more of an advocate now for mental health and taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think you should suffer in marriage or relationships at all. I don't think there should be a suffering. But for me, I guess maybe I'm still the romanticizer. I mean, I heard Corey say that men don't think about their marriages. Well, I do. I mean, I did. I thought about what that day was going to look like. Now, I agree with you. I don't have the preparation. I didn't pick my suit out and all that kind of stuff. But I'm the type of person, Corey.
I want lavender.
And I think it has a lot to do with me being a visionary. A lot of things that I do, I see things before they happen. So I constantly play those scenarios in my head. And so all those things. And then the other side of it for me as a romantic, and I say it all the time, I'm a throwback romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic. I still want and I still believe it exists, even though it's hard to find. I still believe that there's a woman in my life that will make me want to come home, that will make me want to do that we'll enjoy a lot of stuff together, where she's still who she is. I want to be her biggest fan and cheerleader. I want her to be mine as well. And I think when you have that commitment and you're all in, it changes some things. But that's just for me, again, personally.
So let me ask you a question. Were you looking for somebody to spend the rest of your life with, or are you looking for somebody to marry? Because that's two different things. That's two totally different aspects. And like for me, back to the original thing that you were stating, I don't feel as though when it comes down to a time frame, if you're not giving me 100% when me and you are dating, I don't think that I'm gonna get 100% from you while me. It shouldn't be. I have to marry you in order to get 100% from you.
Right, and I get
So
it.
if you can't bring 100% to the table, what gives me the idea that you're actually gonna give 100% when me and you get married?
And I think that's my point, Corey. I think that people aren't willing to give 100%. So let's not get married, because that's just what you said right there. They're not giving the 100, so let's not get married. I'm saying I want to give the 100, and to me, I believe if two people are given that 100, and that's where they are, I think marriage signifies and solidifies that. It says that, but what you just said, they're not giving 100, so I think people are it's easier to shack up because look, I'm gonna give you a lot, but I'm gonna give you this 100 because I don't want to.
I don't want to be vulnerable.
These bills look good when we splitting them and we straight.
Right.
You know,
Right.
We get down like that. But you know what? I'm still, if I want to bounce for a couple of days, I don't want to hear this foolishness. I want to go be able to do my thing. And I think that's why I believe it's where we are at times. So I totally agree with you, bro. Totally.
Okay.
My thoughts on that is that the institution of marriage is good. I think what I find though is that the media and society has put a bad stigma on marriage. If you look at most movies that you watch, they make it all the conversations about divorce. If you're not happy in the marriage, get a divorce. They
Right.
glamorize divorce more so than working hard on a marriage. Nobody said it was going to be easy. So they don't really show that on TV, how people work through their problems and figure it out. It's either, okay, if I'm not happy, I'm gonna leave. If I'm not happy, I get a divorce.
Right.
So that's what I find kind of makes it tougher for people today. You don't have that role model a lot of times in the homes that had a happy marriage that you can kind of say, okay, marriage is good. I love the way my mom and my dad stayed married for whatever. I want a marriage like that. So I think if you're all in, then you work through the problems and you figure it out and you stick with it. If you say I do, then you should.
So what I'm hearing though is like it seems like men really appreciate and want to get married. I don't know why women. I think women think that guys don't like marriage, but it seems like what I'm hearing that actually you guys appreciate the institution of marriage and the commitment that comes with that.
With the right person. With the right person.
With
With the
Absolutely.
right person.
With the right person. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But not everybody, according to Corey's group.
Huh?
Said not everybody.
Well, and I think I said this the other day on our show. We were trained to believe, and to Mr. Lana's point, we measure relationships, friendships off of how many struggles we've went. This is how we've been conditioned. So we measure friendships off of how many struggles we've went through. We measure relationships based off of level of happiness. So as soon as I'm not happy, I can leave. However, your friendship was based off of how many struggles that we go through and overcome. So we have to switch the dynamic of how we think of relationships in totality to really have a happy relationship, to really get to the marriage. And really with the person you're going to be with the rest of your life. Let's say that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with y'all wanting marriage then, right? What drives a man that's married to cheat on a woman that they love?
Okay, you're going to hate me on this one.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
What drives a man to cheat on a woman that they love? Somebody.
I'll be honest with you.
Go ahead, Corey.
A man that's happy at home, a man that's happy at home is not going to cheat. If you're getting everything that you need at the house, there's no need for you to go outside your marriage. Most men that are out there in the world that are cheating right now, they're lacking something at home.
Absolutely. So
if I can go and I can get everything I need, that woman's she's a freak in the sheets and a woman in the streets, there's no need for me to go. I'm at my best friend's house right now. They've been married forever and a day. And it's disgusting to see them because they are totally in love with each other.
Right.
He doesn't step outside of his marriage because he's happy. She doesn't step outside her marriage because she's happy. So to see these two together, it can work. But like I said, if she's not doing her part, because it takes two. If she's not doing her part, she's gonna go out somewhere else,
Okay.
and vice versa.
Okay. Were you gonna say something, Coach?
Yeah, I'm with Corey right there as well. If you're happy at home, and I think the one thing that's missing with this is that I'm gonna speak for the fellas, and I hope that you all will echo this. All men want is respect.
Mm.
You don't want much more than that. That's if you respect me, then that's the place I want to be. But most of the guys that are cheating are being disrespected.
Okay.
And that's just reality. So I'm telling you, for me, if you respect me, if you make me feel like I'm that dude, I'm your hero, and I'm the one that makes your world go, where am I going? Because that's what every man wants. That's the inner GPS of every man. We want that woman. We want that woman who's going to tell her girlfriend, girl, my man is this, my man is this, my man is this. You know what I mean? And when they're with you, that's reality. The Bible talks about how we should love our wives, and we should love our wives like Christ loved the church.
Mm-hmm.
And women are supposed to love us and follow us as we follow Christ. But when we're doing that and getting disrespected, when you're leading and not when you're providing, and there's still the essence of you're not enough. Oh hell, why the hell I want to stay if I'm doing all this and it's still not enough? And then somebody away from my home can recognize and literally look at and see, wow, my goodness. It presents and again, it's what we're looking for. So I'm agree with Corey. If it's being taken care of at the house, where I gotta go? Why do I want to go anywhere?
Right.
So Grace, let me ask you something. When you say respect, can you kind of break down that? Like when you say respect, because you mentioned, you know, you want somebody to be telling you that you're the greatest, whatever. What exactly is respect, so people can understand, so women can understand that what men mean when they want to be respected?
And respect is about authoritative rule over somebody.
Okay.
That's my husband. We together. We on the same page. We in this together. Everything we do is together. I got his back. He got mine. We are a team. That's what I'm talking about. When you want to usurp me and become the man, you look at Genesis 3:6, and it says that the women will desire to control the man. When you look at that, this is all the way back from the garden. And that's what happens a lot of times. It's the woman's desire to control them. Because I guarantee if I ask Corey's buddy, they would tell you they don't want to get married because she's trying to change them.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, men feel like they're going to get changed if they get married. And why can't I be me? That's the one thing I lost for 20 years. That's why I'm all over TikTok now. When I get to be me, because that's me. I like having a good time. I like having fun. And like Corey said, his buddy's house in Merritt. I love watching parts of TikTok because I see husbands and wives on TikTok doing skits together, having fun. I mean, you literally can see the energy and the fun that they're having. That's the type of stuff that I want. And those scenarios, there's no reason to go. If I can laugh with you, if I can have a good time with you, if we like drop, but still, I don't want Keisha to lose Keisha.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that Keisha grows to be the Keisha she wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
But not outgrow me not outgrow you, but every success that we have should be duly appreciated, loved, and gone through. And sometimes we get to the place where I bust my tail and you like, well, I'm working for you. Like, well, you ain't never home. Well, come on now. I mean,
How can I win?
and that's what you tend to feel like. I can't win here. No matter what I do, I can't win.
Okay. Okay.
So do you try to tell your wife or your significant other that there's a problem before you go out and cheat?
Oh, absolutely. I think women have it. And once again, I'll go back and forth again. So we're saying it's a man and woman thing. The reason men cheat is the same reason women cheat. So years ago, I read a study, right? Years ago, I read a study, and it asked, why do men cheat? So this is one of the time I got out of the other relationship. I was deep in studying relationship. So I read through all of these, psychologists, marriage counselors, pastors, people who dealt with cheating spouses. So out of all the 30 plus that actually commented on this thing, 71% of them said it was based off of emotion. 71%. So while most women believe that a big butt and a smile is going to make their man run, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with emotion. So now, me as a man, I am words of affirmation. When Coach is talking about respect, we're talking about what's coming out of your mouth. So if you look at John Gottman, who can actually, what is it? He can actually break down to 95% if you're going to be able to stay in a marriage or not. He can predict within 95%, is this marriage going to work or if it's not going to work? He uses the 4 horsemen, right? And the 4 horsemen break down to criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. So criticism, how a woman speaks to a man is disrespectful. So what you're really saying to a man when you think you're asking him a whole bunch of questions to get to know what really happened, you're saying, I don't trust you.
Mm.
So when you're yelling and screaming, you're saying, I don't love you. I don't care about you. It's something different being said that most women don't realize is being said. So after you go through this toxic relationship, you go through this relationship of a woman who's constantly disrespecting you, guess what? Another woman is clapping for him while you're tearing him down. That's why that man cheated, because emotionally he was deprived of something that was in his own household. She appreciated him more than you appreciated him. He's not cheating because of big butt and a smile. Now, you do have the 29% that have the sexual addiction, that have lack of self-control, who really don't care. That's not the majority. That's very much the minority. So if you're emotionally broken and you get into a relationship with a man, and now you're taking your brokenness and putting it on him, you're more likely, because of your mouth, pushing your man to cheat than it has to do with you physically at all. And I think a lot of women don't understand that. The way you communicate with a man, the way you talk to him, it's a ratio, 5-to-1. 5-to-1 ratio, right? For every one negative emotion, you must have 5 positive emotions to overcome that one negative. So imagine if you're the type of woman who loves to bicker all the time. You're the type of woman that loves to nag all the time. Eventually, that negativity is going to push that person away. And it's not, no, this is the way I talk. They don't understand. No, you're saying something completely different than you believe you're saying to that man. So if that man is telling you, listen, I can't deal with this nagging. I can't deal with you talking to me like this. If he's getting frustrated with that, shut up and listen to what he's saying, because what he's really saying is, you're telling me you don't want to be with me. You're telling me you don't love me. You're too aggressive right here, and I'm not liking this right now. But then the old girl is clapping for him. So guess what? After a while, him missing that emotion in a relationship, he's going to see it in her. And when he says, I don't know why I cheated, he really doesn't know why he cheated. All he knows is, she made me feel better than what was going on right here in the house.
Right. Right. Wow.
Those 29%, Heather, that cheat for the physical, that never lasts anyway. You know what I'm saying? So when it's just about that, that's all it is. It's a booty call, and that's more or less what's not happening physically at home. But what's happening at home is, not, like Doc says, 71% is communication.
Right.
I don't have a problem communicating. This is what I do for a living. So me not talking to somebody I'm going to talk. And when it's not there, it's just really not there. But I was married to the institution than I was to the healthy part of me. So I was going to hang in there because that's what I was taught. Everybody, I didn't grow up around divorce. My mother and father married 40-something years, grandmother married 50 years, other grandparents married 50 years. I didn't grow up around divorce. My thing was, you get married, you hang in there. And I married somebody who didn't have that same philosophy. So she'd been married before me. Her mother had been married multiple times. So there was never any, it was always, hey, whatever. And again, looking back at it, the red flags that I did see, I ignored them because I felt the depth of my love was so strong that I could love somebody to be different. And I learned the hard way that you can't. And those are the lessons that I truly learned. You can't love someone to change, and you can't fall in love with somebody's potential.
Ooh, okay. Anything, Mr. Linwood? They covered it all, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They covered it all. I think, it's everything they said, it was on point, especially the part about the communication and the respect. I mean, those are the things that men want when they go home. They don't want to go home to, hell. They want to, they want to come home to peace and, somebody telling them, I missed you and I want you here. After this,
Can I say this? If anybody's listening to this podcast, go get the book, and this would change my whole perspective. Go get the book, Love and Respect.
Yes.
Get that book. It's biblical, right? And I seen every failed relationship in that book. I understood exactly what was going on after reading that book. Men need love, men need respect, women need love. It's a biblical principle. So every time you take away the respect from a man, he pulls away love. It creates this cycle. He pulls away love. So what you do is trying to get the love, you go back at him with more contempt, right? And you're going to make him listen to you. Okay, so guess what? He feels disrespected, and so he pulls away love again. So it's a vicious cycle that takes place, and it all starts with the communication, how you speak to him. He feels disrespected, he pulls your love away. You get mad because you're going to make him listen to you. Or you see what I'm saying? It's a cycle that takes place, but it all starts with how you communicate.
Right.
Love and respect. I'm telling you, it changed my whole, it took me down a whole nother path.
Okay, good. All right, so the last question that we have, and again, remember this came from a couple women, over 20 women that we asked. The last one is, why do some men act as if a woman should pursue them and attempt to win them over?
Say that again.
You want me to repeat it again?
Yeah, please repeat that. Repeat it again.
Why do some men act as if a woman should pursue them and attempt to win them over?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta say this real quick. First of all, that's a personal question. Like that's something she dealing with. That's something she dealing with. Because the grim reality is, I can pursue all day, and men and women do the exact same thing. You get what I'm saying? You've pursued a woman heavily, and if you don't pursue her at a certain level and call amount of times or text at certain times, then all of a sudden, that's a personal thing. That's an individual character that she's dealt with that didn't call her back, and she felt like he want me to pursue her. I'm sorry, it's individual. I can't even give an answer to that. It's an individual thing. It's not every man.
I would say that based on that, I know I felt like that at times, because I felt like that I have given so much that I would like to know that somebody's interested in me. Because I think as a man in pursuit and courting, again, what we tend to do is we tend to put our best foot forward. We have to ask you out. We have to pay. We have to do all those things. So it's like, I would like to know that at some point you like me enough to do something. You know, and I made this statement. I made this statement to Doc a long time ago. If I was a woman, I wouldn't pay for dinner the rest of my damn life. But I said that. I would let niggas take me out every day, every week, because that's the system. That's the way it's set up.
Correct.
Thank you for the dinner. I'm going over, and that's the mindset. I think for me, and I said earlier, I think men have been hurt, and I don't think people acknowledge that enough. I don't think because we're supposed to have resilience and bounce back, so we're supposed to act like we're not hurt. And when you said, why do men act like they want somebody to pursue them? I don't think it's acting. I think it's hurt. And they want to know that if I've done this a couple times, I've gone all in, and here's what's happened. I've gone all in and done this, and I'm like, you know what? This time I ain't going all in. I'm gonna go here and see if she coming, because the last couple experiences I've had going all in, here's what it got me, you know. And the other thing that Doc talked about, and I said this to Doc. I said, I have guys telling me, Corey, tell me if your fellas talk like this. I've had guys tell me that when they go out with a girl one time, then they're not supposed to call her for 2 days, because they want to wait and have her wondering what I'm really doing. I mean, this is literally, they were telling me, Coach, this is how they roll now. This is what you do, Coach. If you take somebody out, then you don't call them for a couple of days, and you just let them sweat that thing out for a minute, and then you hit them back. It's like this crazy. They selling courses on this type of behavior. They're selling courses on this whole new game, and I'm like, I can't do that. I don't. If I like you and I want to talk to you, I'm not going to try to hold out for 2 or 3 days to position it to where you chasing me. And I think, Heather, the dynamics of it are that way, because you have women that are enterprising singles now that are making more money. Doc and I talked about this before. 47% of women in the world make more money than men. So I think now it's no longer man courting, it's women being equal, maybe women being here. And I think the roles are reversed now, Because I've heard women say, well, he better bring something to the table or we not going to do something. He better at least bring what I'm bringing to the table. So it's like, well, hold on. It's like, whoa, hold on a minute. It wasn't that way before. And now it's that way. So now you want me. So I think guys are getting to that place to where some of us have been used for money. Some of us have been in that position. And I just think it becomes a defense mechanism. And again, it's part of us needing to remain vulnerable, needing to remain transparent. But we're just like people too. Like Doc said, it's a people thing. Men get hurt too. And when it's not acknowledged, when it's not talked about, when it's overlooked, when it's dismissed, guys will say, you know what, I'm not doing this. And I believe that's what leads to the shack up theory. That look, this way I can get the booty, I can do what I got to do, my bills will be right, and I can still go out and do my thing because I done been down this road too many times. But if I can get this, so I can get 80% of this, 85% of this right, I can manage the other 15% in my favor. But when it's 50-50 or you on the other side of it,
God, leave it in my bank account.
Yeah, God help you if you come into it with less than them. Boy, you gonna wear that one the whole time because they gonna remind you that you ain't got nothing. What you got is mine. You moved into their house. I mean, it's a dynamic shift that's crazy. Because we talked about this before, and I said this. I said if a man was to stay home, Keisha, the breadwinner, right? And I was to stay home with the kids and the kids in school, and I'm playing golf, I'm hitting happy hour, but the house is clean, everything you want when you come home, it's cool, and I got access to all the money, and I can do what I want to without asking you how that's gonna feel. Y'all be like, oh, hell no, that ain't working. No, But that's exactly what you want from us. Y'all want to be able to go get your nails and go to that kind of stuff, and we both, I told you, it's a crazy two-way street. Y'all not going to give us access to the money, but y'all kind of want, and I'm not saying you're abusing it, but if you going to buy groceries, you ain't got to call me and ask. If you want to get your nails done, no time thing. If I'm the man I'm supposed to be, you supposed to be having that. But if the roles were reversed, and I started playing golf 4 or 5 days a week and drinking with all that kind of stuff, y'all going to have a fit about that. If I'm just spending money, I'm going out and get my 16 pairs of Timberlands and no. But y'all have 4, 5, 6 different bags and all that's there. It's a different game. So I think that when it comes down to it, the mindset is completely challenged. And I think it changes the dynamics of what's acceptable relationships. And I think navigate and mediate relationships to where they're comfortable as opposed to where they're maybe right or wrong or successful or non-successful. Is more what's comfortable for us. This work for you, good. Then we'll do that together. That we'll make that happen this way.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add to that?
It just seems to me that men, it's very simple what you guys like. You want respect, you want better communication. And if you have all of that, I think relationships will work out, and women need to understand that. And it's just simple. It's not as complicated as we think it is.
No, y'all got to put out on regular too, man. Y'all can't
Yeah.
You gotta put out.
I'm gonna leave that one.
Gotta be good.
Y'all gotta, right. But I'm saying, but you're right, Keisha. It's not deep with us.
Yeah, it's not that deep.
It becomes deep when you don't get. You all want us to get to know you, but you don't want to get to know us.
Right. Okay.
And I always look at James 4:1. Where does all the fussing and fighting come from? Does it not come from a place inside of you? So majority of the arguing, the fussing, the anger, the bitterness that's going on inside of you. It's not the other person.
Right.
So you have to figure out what's going on in here. Like, what kind of scenarios are you putting together in your own mind to say, you know what, they're trying to get over on me. No, he doesn't. Like, you have to deal with what's going on here before you can really deal with someone else.
So, Adrian, I want to ask you, for the book you said, Love and Respect, there were 4 things you said. What were they?
Well, that's not in that book. That's by Gottman. Gottman is the 4 horsemen. So it's contempt. What are you, Coach? Contempt.
Criticism, contempt, stonewalling, criticism, contempt, stonewalling, and
Defensiveness.
Defensiveness. And that's the 4. What's that book?
That's the 4 horsemen. It's by Dr. John Gottman.
Okay.
But it's not called 4 horsemen. But if you look at the principles of it.
All right, guys. My co-host, do you want to add anything else before we?
This has been good. Thank you.
No, I love this. Yeah. It's been very enlightening.
Yes, it is. All right, guys, I really appreciate y'all being so candid. Is there anything else you guys want to add that we need to know before we hang up?
No, let's do it
No.
again.
All right, let's do it again. All right, that's great.
I like it. I like
Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Do y'all want to put out
Thank
your
you.
handles, your social media handles, so people can follow you on Instagram or
At the
Facebook?
Real GM on Instagram, Grayson Marshall Jr., Grayson Marshall on Facebook. And just Google me, you'll find me wherever I am.
Okay.
Instagram, Dr. Adrian A. Gentry. Facebook, Dr. Adrian A. Gentry.
And I know Corey's not a very big social media person, but
Not at all.
okay. What about you, Mr. Linwood?
No, I'm good also.
All right, thank you. Well, you know, y'all can follow us on I Got You podcast and all our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But I really appreciate y'all being on. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
you.
All right. Night, night.
Good night.
Good night.